Welcome back. I'm Victor Grimm, and I collect the moments when a person's perfect reality shatters into jagged pieces. We trust our senses. We believe what we see, what we hear, and what we feel. But of all our senses, smell is the most primal. It's the one that bypasses the logical brain and goes straight to the soul. You can change your clothes, you can scrub your skin, and you can air out a room, but a scent lingers like a ghost. It stays in the fabric of a sofa, in the fibers of a carpet, and in the memory of a person who truly knows you. Today's story is about a man named Arthur. He wasn't a detective, and he didn't have a suspicious bone in his body. He was a simple man who loved the routine of his life with his wife, Claire. But when Arthur returned early from a business trip, it wasn't a noise or a sight that told him his life was a lie. It was a faint, unfamiliar aroma that turned his home into a crime scene. Sit back, let the shadows grow long. Today, we look at how the smallest detail can be the loudest confession. Arthur and Claire were the kind of couple who had been together so long they finished each other's sentences. Arthur was a quality control manager for a textile company, a job that required a sharp eye and a very keen sense of touch and smell. Claire worked in a florist shop, always smelling of lilies and damp earth. Their home was their sanctuary, a place filled with familiar scents, the lavender soap Claire used, the cedar wood of Arthur's aftershave, and the smell of fresh coffee every morning. Arthur was scheduled to be away in Chicago for a week, but the project finished early, and wanting to surprise Claire, he caught the red-eye flight back on a Wednesday morning. He let himself in quietly at 10 a.m. The house was silent. Claire, he assumed, was at the florist. He walked into the living room, dropped his bag, and was about to head to the kitchen when he stopped. The house didn't smell like their house. Beneath the faint scent of Claire's lavender candles, there was something else, a heavy, musky smell. It was expensive, spicy, and distinctly masculine. It wasn't Arthur's cedarwood. It was the scent of a man who didn't belong there. Arthur felt a sudden, sharp spike of anxiety. He walked into the kitchen. There were 2 coffee mugs in the sink. Both were stained with lipstick, but one had a faint residue of a dark, strong espresso that Arthur never drank. Claire always had her coffee with plenty of milk. He walked into the bedroom. The bed was perfectly made, as Claire always made it. But when Arthur sat on the edge of the mattress, he noticed a single dark hair on the white pillowcase. Arthur's hair was gray and thinning. This hair was thick, jet black, and coarse. He didn't call Claire. He didn't text her. He did what he did best: quality control. Arthur went to the laundry room. He opened the washing machine. It was empty, but the drum was still damp. He checked the dryer. Inside, he found Claire's silk robe and their premium guest towels. He pulled one out and pressed it to his face. The scent was there, overpowering. It was the smell of a hotel lobby in a foreign country, sophisticated, arrogant, and alien. Arthur spent the next few hours in a state of cold, analytical observation. He found a cigar butt in the bottom of the kitchen trash can, a brand Claire hated. He found that the thermostat had been turned up to 75 degrees. Arthur liked it at 68, but he remembered Claire once mentioning that her friend from college, a man named Victor who lived in Florida, always complained about the cold. The betrayal wasn't a sudden discovery. It was a slow, agonizing realization that for years, Claire had been hosting guests whenever Arthur was away. She wasn't just having an affair, she was using their home as a temporary base for a life Arthur wasn't invited to. Arthur didn't confront her with a shout. He didn't wait for her to come home so he could play the victim. Instead, he went to the florist shop. He didn't go inside. He stood across the street and watched. He watched as a sleek black car pulled up. He watched as a man, dark-haired, wearing a tailored suit, stepped out and walked into the shop. A few minutes later, the man and Claire walked out together, laughing. The man leaned in to kiss her, and even from across the street, Arthur could almost smell that musky, spicy scent again. Arthur didn't follow them. He went back home. When Claire arrived at 6 p.m., she found Arthur sitting in the living room in total darkness. "Arthur, you're home early! What a wonderful surprise!" she exclaimed, reaching for the light switch. "Don't turn it on, Claire," Arthur said. His voice was low and flat. "I've been sitting here for hours, just breathing." "What do you mean? Are you okay?" "The house smells different, Claire. It smells like Victor, or whoever he is. It smells like the towels you washed this morning. It smells like the espresso you don't drink." Claire froze. In the dim light of the hallway, Arthur saw her shoulders drop. The mask of the perfect wife didn't just slip, it shattered. "Arthur, I can explain. It's not what it seems." "It's exactly what it seems, Claire. It's a scent. It's in the furniture, it's in the air, and now it's all over you. I've lived in this house for 15 years, and today is the first time I realized I'm a stranger here." Arthur stood up. He had already packed his bags. "You can keep the house, Claire, but you might want to buy new towels. I've taken the ones that smelled like him. I'm going to use them to remind myself never to trust a scent again." He walked past her, out the door, and into the cool evening air. He realized that sometimes the truth doesn't need words. Sometimes it just needs to be breathed in. Arthur thought he knew every inch of his world. He thought he knew every detail of the woman he loved. But he learned that the most profound betrayals are the ones that leave no visible marks. They hide in the air we breathe and the clothes we wear. We trust our partners to be our sanctuary, never suspecting that they are inviting the outside world into our most private spaces. We think we are safe in our routines, but the truth is always there, lingering in the background, waiting for the right moment to catch our attention. Claire's mistake wasn't the man or the espresso. Her mistake was forgetting that Arthur's job was to notice the things that weren't quite right. And in the end, her scent was the only evidence he needed. I'm Victor Grimm. If you've ever smelled something that didn't belong and followed it to a truth you weren't ready for, share your story in the comments. The nose always knows. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You wouldn't want to be the last one to smell the smoke before the fire starts. Trust your senses. They're usually right. Until next time.